I was obviously really excited about it when it came. I thought, oh, this is what's going to change my life.
Yeah.
And I quickly found out that's not true. It does a lot of cool stuff, but in the end of it, I don't, I wasn't so impressed with the thing.
Isn't that sad?
Especially with the price. Well, I kind of set myself up for it. I mean, you really, all the hype and all the people talking about it, and then the 1 day only sale and all this other stuff. I was already on the list for it, and then they opened it up for that Explorer program for the day. And, Ellen DeGeneres even put out a tweet, oh, I got my glass. Like, it's all this fanfare behind it that really gets you excited. And then once you finally put it on your face and try it out, I had a moment on the second day when I was like, I should have known when I saw this thing online that it's going to be exactly what it's doing right now.
Yeah.
But,
brilliant marketing, right?
Of course. That's the deal. I mean, you artificially create a limited supply and show a lot of really whiz-bang, high volume or high value production quality videos online about how this stuff's great and give it to some, power brokers on Twitter so they can go out there and talk about it. And then, everybody wants it, of course.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I used it for a spell. I tried to put a lengthy video out there because, when I was looking into it and trying to find some other people's videos about what the Google Glass does and everything, every video I saw pretty much did the same thing. The unboxing video, and then they show how strange it looks on your face, and it does look very strange once you, go out into public with it. But they didn't really show the results of using it, and I really wanted to focus on that.
Speaking of which, what are the social aspects of it, going out in public? Do you get a lot of weird looks?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. People notice it right off. I mean, it definitely looks foreign on your face. There's no doubt about it. And I mean, most of the people that I ran into, there's a segment in the video, I purposefully went out and interviewed, like the man on the street. I started asking people about it as I was recording them, with the glass. And, even people who had some semblance of an idea of what it was were really surprised by, the way it looked. One gentleman even thought that it was going to be like goggles. And I said, no, you're thinking about the wrong Google thing that also died. So yeah, you get a lot of strange looks. People that are not initiated with it at all are very curious about it. But then, I didn't really meet with a lot of people that were concerned about the surveillance stuff, or, I wasn't mauled by anybody like they are in San Francisco, thinking that I'm taking illicit pictures of them or anything like that. I didn't have any of that kind of experience. But people were very curious about it. And then as I kind of detailed what the thing did, because a lot of people didn't know, there were some curiosities, and then I dropped the $1,500 bomb on them, and they said, whoa, that's a killer price tag there.
Yeah, it really is. At this time, of course it's a beta product at this moment, but that is what we have our hands on to look at and test. We don't have anything to really compare it to, because there's nothing else out there that's a consumer product that really competes with this.
Right.
As far as doing everything that the glass does. There's the GoPro, which, as you mentioned in your post, it has better video quality and costs a ton less.
Absolutely.
So,
go ahead.
Do you see it turning into a consumer product at all? And if so, what changes would have to be made beyond the price point for it to be an attractive consumer product, would you say?
I'll answer the second question first. I don't think it becomes a consumer product unless they do some things, and I think those things are pretty radical. Obviously, the price is astronomical. That has to come down. But beyond that, it's not a device that thinks on its own. So that's something that needs to be reconciled as well. I mean, you have to have the Bluetooth tethering and feed, you have to breathe life into the thing through your smartphone, which requires some sort of additional data plan just to be able to be mobile with the thing. So in my case, I'm with AT&T. It was $40 a month additional to get the data plan with the tethering and all that. So you require that just to be able to use it for its core functions. So that's obviously got to change. And then the other thing is it's basically, as you said with the GoPro, it's a bundled solution that they tied into something that you can wear like Wayfarers that, go behind your ear. I mean, the GoPro, like you said, is doing the exact same thing. It's a wearable. You could put it on a helmet or a hat or something like that for the video quality, and it definitely surpasses the video quality of the glass. The only thing it's missing, in my estimation, is the Bluetooth audio portion of it to be able to feed your, music or your phone call into your ear, which there's already a ton of solutions for that are much cheaper as well. So much of that has to change. I didn't see a unique value proposition for the Google Glass that would validate it to be a consumer product at all at this time. They'd have to definitely come up with something new that's not in the demo or the beta.
So in your testing of it, how long were you using it? I mean, I've only worn it for minutes at a time to try it out. Of other people's I wouldn't dare thinking about dropping the $1,500 on it. So perhaps that makes me more of a skeptic than you. But did you find it to be annoying in any circumstances? Like you kind of you wanted to throw it, but you didn't because it cost $1,500 type of thing?
I was thinking of throwing it on a couple of occasions, but then eBay reminded me that there's ways to recoup from bad investments, and so I thought that might be a better venue. But it really isn't like the first hour or so that you wear it. Obviously, I mean it's totally foreign and it's alien to what your usual activities are. But then past that, you grow pretty accustomed to it. I mean it's very comfortable. It weighs hardly anything at all. It's adjustable. The glass itself sits just above your line of sight, so it's not like obscuring your vision or anything like that, which is keen. But, after I take it off, after, a good week or so of wearing it, I noticed that one of the poor byproducts of the situation is that it changes your physical, what you would call like a tick or something like that, because I don't know if this has happened to you guys, but if you have your phone on vibrate all the time, you get like these distant vibrating feelings. Yeah, that thing. And so, you're accustomed to kind of raising your head and tilting to the side like a curious dog might when you're looking for messages to appear that don't exist because you're not wearing the thing anymore. Yeah. So outside of that, it was not really that bad. One thing I did uncover, too, that was strange, going back to the societal respect of this and how it's already kind of strange in itself, is they built in this shortcut to take pictures, and I think they recognize that the video part of it is probably 70% of its value, if not more. And if you don't want to push the button, there's a button situated just above your eyebrow on the apparatus. And if you don't want to push that button to create the picture, you can teach it to time your wink, and you can actually wink at things to take pictures, which I thought was pretty insensitive to the fact that people are already leering at you, and so winking back at them I didn't think would have very good results. But,
you don't want to go around winking at random people, is what you're saying? You think that might bring across the wrong idea?
I think that's, you'll see something really interesting in the background, and then, somebody's 16-year-old girl or daughter is in front of you, but you can't see her because you're looking off in the distance, and then you wink, and then, you come home with a welt. It doesn't really work out well in social environments. But then if you're going to take pictures by yourself, why are you winking? That's also dubious, so.
I mean, I often look at people from afar taking pictures, so I would wonder that myself, I'm sure. That's just kind of the thing that I think of. The reason I don't use text-to-speech in many cases is because I'm literally standing there talking to my phone as if there's a person there. And I'm not, the phone's not responding to me. So that kind of stigma still feels extremely awkward to me, not to mention how much it sucks at getting it right. So it doesn't matter anyway.
Well, that's what's strange about it. I was having a discussion with a good friend of mine about this, and, we talk about all kinds of things and how society either adopts new technology or they shun it, depending on how it's poised in the marketplace. And it's funny, I remember when the Bluetooth earbuds came out, or the one little Star Trek one that you had in your right ear, and everybody in the grocery store seemed to be senile because they were talking to themselves in the cereal aisle. And, at first it was very bizarre, and we thought, oh, who do they think they are? Are they very serious people? They must be really busy. Are they on the phone with the president? And then fast forward 6 months or so, and it's commonplace. So, but on the flip side of this, because this is so visibly apparent on your face, and it probably has a lot to do with it being rare in the wild, people, I'm so curious about the people that think that we're going to be spying on them with something as obvious as being planted on my face. If I was trying to spy on somebody or take pictures of somebody without them knowing it, you'd think you'd obfuscate it a little bit better than that.
Yeah.
And you can take pictures feigning that you're texting your friend on your phone all day long, and nobody's worried about that anymore. But they're worried once you put it on your face, this guy is really going to take pictures now. He's super serious about it.
I commented on this article about, which I had talked about before, is the practical uses of Google Glass. And as we all know, the comment section of the articles are always the best spots to hang out. So what I said in response to your article was the only practical uses of glass I've heard are in professional industries, which solidifies the fact of it's not a consumer product, and I don't see that for a really long time. But I said, what if a firefighter could see blueprints of a house while searching for children that is burning? The house is burning. Jesus. What if a police officer could see a satellite view of a house they suddenly need to breach because a hostage is a assailant has barricaded themselves inside? So I put in the show notes here an article from TechBerg, which is my friend who has a Google Glass and happens to be a volunteer firefighter as well, and who was the one who brought this idea up to me about law enforcement using Google Glass. And he specifically talks about police officers because he works at a police department. But there's certainly plenty of applications where, a police officer could just say, identify this person, and then use facial recognition software, or look at a license plate and say, run this. The other examples he gives are at a crime scene, say, take a photo or record this to have an incident recording from the officer's point of view. So, it's hands-free. I think it's, he's not suggesting a RoboCop, but it really does provide, I think, an enhanced communications. Do you see that from your use of it, that you could see that working?
It has the capability of doing stuff like that, but again, the key element here, because a lot of the things that you described and he brought up as well as I read the article, have something to do with how intelligence can be accessed. So the data stream and all that stuff, and the integration between certain devices being able to access a data stream are really completely independent of the glass. And I don't mean to be obtuse, but I mean, the glass itself, again, has no brain at this moment. So you'd have to have apps that are accessible to mobile devices, and then all it is basically a display and a camera, So it can do a ton of things like that, so long as those types of apps are created. But this particular situation, though, in law enforcement, that sort of thing, it sounds great, but it is kind of spooky, at least to me. I don't know, just the way that it was described in the article, and then I like the disclosure too that it's not like RoboCop, it's not like The End of Days, it's not like Eraser or any of these other futuristic crazy movies, but it is kind of like that, isn't it? I think the applications are cool ideas. I'm just saying, I think, because what we talked about earlier about it having so much hype, the Google Glass having so much hype and everything, I think we're trying to, not just us on the podcast, but others are trying to latch on some futuristic value to this to kind of give it some merit. And what I'm trying to say is I don't think the device itself is so unique that it can't be done in any other way, that we need to leverage off of Google Glass to arrive at these things, for the police department or fire department or any of those other things. I think that,
right.
Being able to have a secondary display visible either through a helmet or something like that for police, because they have a whole different set of gear, probably makes a lot of sense. But I just don't see we don't have to have the glass for it, is kind of my point about that.